Welcome to the Plug Effect Live, connecting budding entrepreneurs to tools, resources, and conversations to stay motivated, find balance, and facilitate growth. Are you plugged in? Let's educate, evolve, elevate.
It is your host, Kelly Weaver, CEO of the Innovation Plug, here with Nikki James of Bits Tutorial Services. So happy to have you here.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is Miss Nikki, and how did we get to what we know now of Nikki James, the CEO of Bits Tutorial Services?
So Nikki is, first of all, a God-fearing woman, a mother, very passionate educator, hardworking, determined, driven. That's Nikki James, and that's the foundation of Bits. Just being passionate about education, changing the mindset for education, the way it's looked at, even like with tutoring, develop that mindset to be able to accept, building upon what you already know. So that's who I am.
So, what was the journey of you deciding to become an entrepreneur? Because you were already in the education space, right?
Absolutely. So I've served in the education. God is so good. He allowed me to serve every role in education. I actually started as a long-term substitute. So I'm able to see and remember how it felt to be a substitute or even to serve as a teacher or office manager. So I'm able to use all those gifts and those feelings to pour back into those where I'm serving now in the schools that I'm serving.
So, what made you stop teaching?
Bits was formed in 2020 in the midst of COVID. And it was a terrifying year for me because, like I said, I'm an educated and I want my babies to be educated. So it's a mindset thing. I also taught kindergarten, so germs were real before COVID, right? So my mom, thank God, is a cancer survivor. And I was caring for my mom as well as my grandmother. And everyone was like, okay, you know, they don't have an immune system. So it'll be so easy for you to bring something home, you know? So I'm like, oh God, what do you want me to do? Like, this is what I know how to do. This is my gift. I know this is my gift. I know you want me to work with these babies, but do I really have to jeopardize my family? So I was going back and forth, and he told me, he said, absolutely not. Quit your job. So that's what pushed me. So I told all my kindergartners, I'm like, okay, y'all going to first grade. Some are even promoted to second. I'm not going to see y'all next year. I told their families, and they immediately enrolled into Bits. So that's how Bits was formed. In that 2 months, God showed me a way that not only I could change my life, but I could also change other educators' life through doing what we love to do. I had no idea then that education would be in a crisis as we are right now. So Bits is able to serve as a safe haven. So I'm just so grateful that he sent me down.
Yeah. And I mean, I had the pleasure of seeing just some of the stuff that you're doing and just how impactful it is. But for people who don't know, like, what is Bits? What does Bits stand for? And what is kind of your vision behind Bits?
So Bits stands for Building Intellect Tutorial Service. And it's the mindset, teaching that growth mindset. It's helping the scholars to see, okay, if you don't understand this, it's okay. Let's work towards it. So we tutor pre-kindergarten through 12th grade scholars, any academic need. Thank God we are now offering senior citizen computer literacy classes.
Oh, yeah.
So we also teach computer literacy. We saw it working in districts that a lot of grandparents are caring for our babies. But they don't know how to use a computer. So it's so hard for them to even communicate. They don't even have an email address. So thank God through our programs, our grandmas now some even have Facebook pages. So now they're not being left behind because we don't want to leave them behind. That's still our babies need them. So we need them in place, but we need them in a comfortable place. So Bits serve also as a community. For the community, we give out all kind of things. Giving out boxes this morning, turkeys for our families. We have connections with Mr. Michael Thomas with the workforce. If any of our parents ever, have lost their job or all these different things, we want to be a resource. So thank God he's using us to be that resource for our community.
Yeah, you mentioned so much that I think is important. The fact that it's the kids, right? It's making sure they have the education that they need, but it does take a village, right? You have to look at, okay, what are the things that the kids are missing maybe at home? What's the disconnect? So it's you're kind of giving a full experience of not only helping the kids get what they need, but also helping the caretakers and the parents get what they need to say, hey, are you struggling with finding a job? Are you struggling with computer literacy? So what you're doing is even so much more than what you initially envisioned, right? And I think that's so beautiful that you're taking on that, and you've been willing to do that and see a need and try to aid to that need. So I think that's awesome. And I do see that. I feel like your students, it's not only them getting the experience, but it's everyone around them.
Absolutely.
Everyone involved in their lives is getting to experience with Nikki and Bits and Diamond. It feels supported.
Yes,
and I think that's such a big deal.
Yes, just allowing us to mirror his image.
Yeah.
So that, it's one thing to talk about it, but when you're like the boots on the ground and the parents can see it and see the work through you, maybe we can help also grow God's kingdom. So through the work that we're doing, that's the goal.
I love that. So what's your key driving force as it pertains to entrepreneurship?
So I had to learn this the hard way because I'm like one of those giving, like, okay, we can do it. So as an entrepreneur, like you said, this is my livelihood. So I had to get that mind frame to where, look, if you give a discount here, even though I want to give discounts, I want to do this, I want to, make sure. And we have incentives now, praise God, that can help, even if a parent needs help financially. We have a partnership with concession stand inside the American Airlines Center, so where they can volunteer, work there, and it'll be a fundraiser for their baby for tutoring. So, but prior to that, I had to make sure that the pricing was right, that I could pay my bills at home. As an entrepreneur, you're now responsible not only for your home, but those around you as well. But you can't grow a business by yourself. You have to have a good team. So you have to make sure that they're good as well. So it's a lot of responsibility. So you just have to keep that in mind, and that'll help you with like that business side, that black and white. It is this is the best we could do. We've already thought through this with the team. Here you are. So the price is now the price.
She said the price is the price, okay?
Yeah.
We don't have discounts, but we do have other options of funding your baby. But I think that's beautiful. But you mentioned something that's so important is you can't build a business without a team. So like, how is that process of finding a team, right? Finding the right people, finding people that are driven in the same way you are, right? But also have the type of work ethic or same commitment and dedication to what you're doing, what you're building.
So for me, our leadership team in BITS, Miss Vivian Smith, I know you remember Miss Smith. I actually worked with Miss Smith in DeSoto ISD. And so we worked for years. I've been knowing Miss Smith. I've been knowing she was a bad educator, because I looked in her class. She was a mentor to me. I wanted to be just like Miss Smith. And now God has allowed her in her expertise. She has over 25 years in education. So just being around those people like Miss Smith, Xavier, those who are so passionate, and Xavier, he can bring a different aspect because everything we're doing is because we don't want our babies going to juvenile. He's worked juvenile. So he knows what it looks like. He knows. So God has created a powerhouse team. I like to call us a powerhouse team. We have over 282 years of service amongst our team of educators. It's just a powerful team, and I'm excited because what really makes it, I think, that powerhouse, we have educators in various states. So we're able to collaborate to see, hey, God, what you doing in Cali? What are y'all doing in Cali for your babies? Or in New York? What are y'all doing different? Texas is kind of behind. We're a little slow state, So now we're able to really spruce up our lessons. And that's how we get those unforgettable learning experiences for our babies to not only are they going to leave singing and rapping that lesson, but they're not going to forget it. So they're going to be the best. We teach them that they're the smartest and the best in the world. And they believe it, and I believe it.
Right. Wow. And you mentioned, I know you work with other educators. Some of your educators are in other states, right?
Yes.
And I think that's one big thing too, is you're not just local. So you do a lot of stuff virtually. So there's a lot of access, right? And that kind of expands your territory, your reach. So how has that been? Because you're not only building something local, you're building something now national, right?
Yes, absolutely. So our furthest scholar is Canada. So we do things that are so outside the box. Like Monday, we do a virtual field trip for our scholars to online log on. They're going to their local library to secure their library card. We're going into the holidays. We want our babies to be able to read and enjoy their book throughout the holidays. So they get to log in and they put their names in and, hey, I'm in California or I'm in Virginia. And they get to really react with one another. Meanwhile, they don't know it, but it's teaching them technology. They know how to use Zoom. They know how to use a chat. This is the world we live in. So they're getting it earlier than later in a different way, right? So we do all kind of things like that. In the summertime, they become pen pals. So now they're responsible for writing that letter. And they say our babies can't read. They say our babies can't write well. So our program is put in place to those statistics and the data that they show us and that we know as educators. We want to prevent that.
Right. So you're taking on this great big initiative. But what you're doing kind of speaks to a lack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is just one of those questions. If you had the opportunity to talk to the people that make the decisions that affect kind of the communities that you work with, the communities that you serve, as it pertains to education, what would you want them to know based on just your experience over these years, putting yourself into that position to make decisions that you know will affect these babies?
I would definitely say that our babies deserve a fair shot. The areas that I serve, I see it every day. It's totally different from the areas that we may serve in Mansfield. So why is that? I think it's very intentional. So, but thank God we're there. So we're able to bring those resources, the same resources that our babies are getting in Mansfield, to Dallas and Oak Cliff, South Dallas.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's a thing, but it's real, and I just hope that they will be open minded. But it's like the decision makers, they're not educators. They're not even a bit most concerned about the lack. So it takes us to take care of our own community. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think there comes a transition where it's no longer what people will do for us, but what we will do for each other.
Absolutely.
And at some point, we have to come together and fill the gaps, right? Two-sided question. What's been the most challenging part of being an entrepreneur? And then what has been the most satisfying part of being an entrepreneur?
So definitely the biggest challenge for me was scaling. As a woman-owned, minority-owned business, I found it very difficult to secure capital for scaling purposes. Praise God, we were able to secure government contracts. So anytime you get one of those, you have to be ready to perform. You have to have A through Z. You want to have your systems in place. You want it to be perfect, right? But here I am, it's like, oh God, no. What did I do? This woman had to hire an additional 50 people. I gotta have this. And we all got paid out. So I'm stressing. And God just always, he calms me down every time, putting my spirit. Girl, do you think I didn't put you out there to see? Come on now.
Right.
So he always makes a way, but I would definitely say that process was tough.
And I think sometimes we don't realize how swiftly God will act.
Absolutely.
We ask for
Oh,
it.
I would have it.
Well, now, it's coming. Are you ready? Because I see you dilly dally, you playing on your phone, but
Yes. he will open it up and overflow.
yeah.
Literally. So again, I thank God for my team.
Yeah. But it gave you the push, right?
Oh yeah.
So now that you've had that experience,
Yes.
you're ready, right?
Absolutely.
But now it's, I always tell them to stay ready so you don't have to get
Absolutely. Absolutely.
start preparing for the overflow.
You're
Now. So that challenge ended up still just being necessary for your journey and for your growth.
You gotta know that you're ready to roll like nothing. You gotta be unstoppable. You have to be you have to know it's a faith walk.
Yeah.
So a faith walk is I'm walking. I already know, like it's something there. So I've learned now, thank God, to not even question. If we get a job or a new opportunity, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's so big. Thank God. And in the past, I'm like, okay. But now I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
God will make it out. Or,
yeah.
Let's get it in play. And we have systems, thank God, that we can accommodate it. So he's just showing out. He's showing out. And I just thank God that he's allowing me to serve him in the way that I love to serve my babies. And he's trusting us to do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that he's happy by it. So he
trusts you.
Yeah.
He trusts you. I think that's the thing with any vision, any purpose that God gives us is because he trusts us, and how we operate kind of shows him, I can give you more because I can trust you with more.
Absolutely.
I'm seeing how you've handled the 3 kids. So now I can give you 30. I saw how you handled the 30. Now I can give you 300. So the more that we show him that he can trust us,
Yes.
I mean, the blessings are endless, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm excited for you. So what's the most satisfying?
The most satisfying is definitely being able to, because as a teacher, right, I missed a lot of cool things with my daughter, like the first day of school, being able to take, teachers can't do that. Like, we have to be in our room. So, but now my baby's a senior. And congratulations. Join the PTSA. And so I'm able to volunteer at the school. I'm able to like really be
Have
there.
flexibility that you didn't have when she was younger.
Over.
And that's good because what better years, right? You've gotten to have that flexibility while she's in high school, which is really such a major part of your life, going from your transition of being a kid into a young adult.
Absolutely.
And she gets to see you and see your sacrifice, see what came of it, and see mom now as this entrepreneur boss. And I'm sure that's been an encouragement to her.
Absolutely. So we have PACs. She also was able to see me go back to school because I'm a non-traditional college graduate. So I got pregnant the first go around with my daughter. So she's able to see that full-time job, going to school, getting out, 11 o'clock, getting out your classes, that grind. So we have a pact that she's going to go all the way through. Now, that first time, and she's going to be a doctor in Jesus' name. She's our future doctor. So I'm going to get back in school for my doctorate degree so we can do that at the same time. So we have some packs. So that's my girl. I'm super proud of her. But she's my drive. And I know she's going to be... I just get chills about her personality. She's just like me. She's something special, So I thank God that I'm Asia's mom. She's my beautiful.
Well, Asia's mom is doing the dang thing. If y'all haven't seen and heard already, I have one last question, and then I want you to tell people how they can, plug in with you and everything. So what does elevation mean to you?
Elevation means to be able to learn and be a lifelong learner. It's so many facets to life. You have to be able to learn, So elevation means you're learning, you're putting things into play, you're rising, you're your best self because you're happy. To be able to help others, to elevate, to show them the way as well. I think it'll be great, if everyone elevated and learned to think outside the box and not just accept what we're given. What I say.
So true. Thank you for that. And I just hope that those of you watching this will continue to see the importance of educating, and elevating. And so let's all continue to evolve and expand and trust God and live out our purposes and our journeys, whether that's entrepreneurship or whatever it is, and know that you could be making an impact in a special way, like Miss Nikki James here. So how can people plug into Bits and you and keep up with all the things that you're doing?
Please follow us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're getting ready for our next story time. It's going to be December the 9th from 1 to 4. This is a free community event where we'll have Christmas crafts, we'll have Santa there, and story time where we invite authors within our community come and read to our scholars. Our telephone number is 833-261-2487. I'm sorry about that. Visit our website at bitstutorial.org.
All right. Well, we're going to have all that information on the screen for you all. So make sure that you plug in with Nikki James. And thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of the Plug Effect Live. See you next time.